Yep.
It's a funny game, Allison. Tell me, what did you do then?
Oh, the red pawn took the white pawn this way. You see, Uncle, the chessboard is divided into 64 squares, black and white. The red army tries to win, and the white army tries to win. It's like a battle.
With soldiers, huh?
Yes, and here are the kings and queens they're fighting for.
How groovy they look.
See the crowns on their heads and their big feet?
That's a foot piece, that's what that is. It comes along like this.
Oh, you're spoiling the game. I must keep them all in the right squares.
I want to be a kid queen. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Man, I miss the 60s.
Here you are. Here you are in your slick little skirt.
How's it hanging, Louie?
And now you're going to move here.
I can move myself, thank you.
You have traveled across the board this way, and you have not been captured by the enemy, then you may be in queen.
Thank you. Why is it though that people always play with kings and queens? Your mom has them in her playing cards. Here's the king of hearts. And here's the queen of hearts. She's his wife, but how mean she is. She wants to bite your head off. Against yourself?
Well, that's one way of keeping in practice. I have friends at the university who want to beat me.
Yeah, but if you play against yourself, I think you want to cheat.
I would never do that. I always pretend I'm two people too. It's fun, isn't it? You know, sometimes when I'm all alone, I go up to the looking glass and I look at the other Alice. She's so silly, that Alice can't do anything by herself. When I look at her, she looks at me. When I point at her, she points at me. And when I stick my tongue out at her, she sticks hers right back at me. Kitty has this one too, haven't you, darling?
I'll have to write a book about that someday. Alice in Wonderland. Child with the pure, unclouded brows, dreaming eyes of wonder. Or Alice through the looking glass.
Okay, so here's the room you can see through the glass. It looks just like our living room, except furniture goes the other way. I can see all of it except just behind the fireplace. I do wish I could see it though. Won't there ever be any way of our getting through?
I don't know, but do you suppose you can find looking glass film digestible?
Well, it doesn't sound awful good, does it? But then again, I might leave her at home. She's been getting into an awful lot of trouble lately.
Oh.
The other day, she found Sister's knitting and chased the ball all over the garden where Sister was playing croquet with the neighbors. I ran and ran after the naughty little thing until I was all hot and tired. I am tired.
Tell you what, why don't you take a nap? Yes, we'll have time before we have tea.
We're having lobster soup for supper. I heard Mama tell the cook not to pepper it too much.
There she is. Let's call her over. Do you think she'll come? I'll call softly. Alice! 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 If she wakes and catches Alice, come through the looking glass.
I've tried before, but the glass was hard. I was afraid of cutting my finger. Like soft like God.
It's time for you to answer now. Open your mouth a little wider when you speak and always say Your Majesty. I don't suppose you want to lose your name.
No, indeed.
And yet, I don't know. Think how convenient it would be if you could manage to go home without it. For instance, if your professor wanted to call you to your lessons, she would call out, "Come here," and there she would have to leave off, and of course you wouldn't have to go.
Well, that wouldn't do at all. The professor, if she couldn't remember my name, she'd call me Miss, as the others do.
But if she said Miss and nothing more, then why, of course you'd miss your lessons. I dare say you don't even know your geography. Look at the map.
It's laid out like a giant chessboard. I wouldn't mind being a pawn, though. I should like to be the Red Queen best.
That's easily managed. When you get to be a square, you become a queen. It's a whole game of chess that we're playing all over the world. Oh, wait, come on. We gotta run. Don't try to speak. Faster, faster. I can't.
Are we nearly there?
Nearly there. Why, I passed it 10 minutes ago. You can rest for a bit now.
But everything's just the same as it was.
Of course it is. What way would you have it?
Well, in my country, you would generally get somewhere else if you've been traveling as fast as we have been for a long time.
Slow sort of country. See, now, here, it takes all the running you can do to stay in the same place, and if you want to get somewhere else, you have to run twice as fast as that.
I would rather not try, please. Although, I am so hot and thirsty.
Oh, I know just what you'd like. Here. Have a brownie.
Oh.
Now, while you're refreshing yourself, I'll take the measurements. And at the end of 2 squares, I'll give you your directions. Another brownie.
Oh, no one's putting up.
There's twice I hope. Now, this square belongs to Humpty Dumpty. This square belongs to Griffin and the Mock Turtle. And that square belongs to Queen of Hearts. But you make no mark.
I didn't know I was to make one just then.
Well, you should have said, "It's awfully kind of you to tell me all of this." But we'll suppose it's said. Goodbye.
Oh, the Duchess, oh, she'd be savage if I kept her waiting.
I've never seen a rabbit with the way spoke before. Mr. Rabbit!
Wow!
Oh no! Oh no! Am I addressing the White Queen?
Well, if you call this addressing, it's not my notion of thing at all.
Well, if you only tell me how, I'll do it as well as I can.
Why, I don't want it done at all. I've been addressing myself for the last 2 hours.
Oh, well, everything's crooked. You're all over with pins.
I don't know what's the matter with it. I pinned it here and I pinned it there, but there's just no pleasing it.
Well, it can't go straight if you pin it on one side. Oh my, what a state your hair is in.
Well, the brush got entangled in it and I lost the comb yesterday.
There. Feels much better now. Really, you should hire a lady's maid.
I'm sure I'll take you with pleasure. 2 pins a week and jam every other day.
Oh no, I don't want you to hire me. I don't care for jam.
But it's very good jam.
Well, I don't want any today at any rate.
But you couldn't have any today if you did want it. The rule is jam tomorrow and jam yesterday, but never jam today.
Well, it must come to jam today at some point.
No, it's jam every other day. Today isn't any other day, you know?
I don't understand you. You're dreadfully confusing.
That's the effect of living backwards. It makes one a little giddy at first.
Living backwards? I've never heard of such a thing.
It's when one's memory works both ways.
Well, I'm sure mine only works one way. I can't remember things before they happen.
It's a poor sort of memory that only works backwards.
Well, what sort
things that happened the week after the next. For instance, now, the king's messenger is in prison, being punished, and, well, the trial doesn't begin till next Wednesday. And, of course, the crime comes last of all.
But suppose he never commits the crime.
That would be groovy, wouldn't it?
Well, I guess it would be groovy, but it wouldn't be all the better than his being punished. Something doesn't make sense.
Ow! My finger! Ow!
Have you pricked it?
Well, not yet, but I soon will.
Well, when do you expect to do it?
When I fasten my shawl, the pin will come undone and... Ow!
Be careful, you're holding it crooked.
Why, that accounts for the bleeding. Now you understand the way things work here.
But why don't you scream now?
Well, I've already done all the screaming. What would be this good in doing it all over again? Oh, let's go! I want to stay in the same place. Come on!
What? Slow down, I'm faster! Faster! Everything's going black before my eyes.
Come on!
Where am I?
I'm Danny Gloves, so where are my Danny Gloves?
Mr. Rabbit? Mr. Rabbit, would you help me, please? I want to go home. I just want to go home.
Oh, gee. She'll get executed. Just birds and birds. Oh. You have them.
You dropped them, you know?
She'll have you executed. She'll chop off your head.
I'm sorry, Would you please tell me how to go home?
Oh, how late it's getting.
Once, I was a real turtle. When we were little, we went to school in the sea. Our master was an old turtle. We called him Tortoise.
Well, why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one?
Well, we called him Tortoise because he taught us. Really, you are very dull.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question. Drive on, Philip, and don't be all day about it.
Yeah, we went to school under the sea, though you mayn't believe it.
I never said I didn't.
You did.
Hold your tongue.
We had the best of educations. In fact, we went to school every day.
I go to school every day too. That's not something to brag about.
With extras.
Yes, French and music.
And washing.
Well, certainly not.
Then your school wasn't a very good school now, was it? Now, at our school, we had at the end of the bill, French, music, and washing. Extra.
Well, I don't think you would have needed it living at the bottom of the sea.
I couldn't afford to learn it. I only took the regular course.
What was that?
Reading and writing to begin with, then the different branches of ambition, uglification, distraction, and derision.
Uglification? I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of uglifying. You do know what to beautify is, I suppose.
Yes, to make anything prettier?
Okay, well then, if you don't know what to uglify is, you are a simpleton.
What else did you learn?
Well, there was mystery ancient and modern, missiography, then there was drawing. The drawing master was an old conger eel who used to come once a week. What he taught was drawing, stretching, and fainting in coils.
And what was that
Well, I couldn't show you myself. I'm too stiff, and the griffin never learned it.
Hadn't the time. I went to the old classical master though. He was an old crab, he was.
I never went to him. He taught laughing and grief, they used to say.
So he did. So he did.
Well, how many hours a day did you do lessons?
10 hours the first day, 9 the next, and so on.
So, the 11th day was a holiday?
Well, of course it was.
That is why they're called lessons. You know, because they lesson from day to day.
What a curious plan.
You may not have learned much under the sea,
I haven't.
and perhaps you've never even introduced to a lobster.
Oh, I once tasted. No, never.
Then you would have no idea what a beautiful thing the lobster quadrille is.
No. What sort of dance is it?
Why? First you form a line along the seashore.
2 lines. Lobsters, seals, and salmon. Then, once you clear all the jellyfish out of the way,
And that generally takes some time.
you advance twice.
Each with the lobster as a partner.
Of course, advance twice set to partners.
Change lobsters and retire in the same order.
Then, you throw
The
as
lobsters.
far out to sea as you can.
Swim after them.
Turn a somersault in the sea.
Change lobsters.
Change lobsters, and then back to shore again. That's all the first figure.
Well, it sounds like a very pretty dance.
Would you like to try a figure of the lobster quadrille? Or would you rather the mock turtle sing you a song?
Ooh, a song, please, if the mock turtle would be so kind.
Well, no accounting for taste. Sing her turtle soup, will you, old fella?
Beautiful soup, so rich and green, waiting in a hot tureen, for who such dainties would not stoop? Soup of the evening, beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, beautiful soup.
Check.
They won't let her stay in our square.
The queen is coming this way.
She'll chop our heads off, let's fly.
You'll be safe in the Marcher's garden.
might just as well say that I breathe when I sleep is the same thing as I sleep when I breathe.
It is the same thing with you. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong. I told you butter wouldn't suit the word. It was the best butter! Yes, but some crumbs might have gotten to it as well. You shouldn't have put it in with the bread knife.
It was the best butter, you know. What a funny watch. It tells the day of the month, but it doesn't tell what time it is.
Oh, why should it? Does your watch tell you what year it is?
Well, no, but that's because it stays the same year for such a long time.
Which is just the case with mine.
I don't understand you. What you said had no meaning, but it was certainly English.
The dormouse is asleep again.
Of course. Just what I was going to remark myself.
You guys through yet?
No, I give up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea.
I think you might find something better to do with your time than wasting it in asking riddles that have no answers.
If you knew time as well as I do, you wouldn't go talking about wasting it. It's Tim.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, of course you don't. I dare say you even never spoke to time.
Well, no, but I know I have to beat time when I learn music.
Ah, that accounts for it. He won't stand beating. Now, if you only kept on good terms with him, he'd do almost anything you liked with the clock. Say it were, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning, just about time to begin lessons. You'd only have to whisper a hint to time, and around goes the clock in a twinkling. 1:30, time for dinner.
Oh, I only wish it was.
Well, that would be grand, certainly, but then I shouldn't be hungry for it, you know?
Well, not at first, perhaps, but you could keep it to 1:30 as long as you liked.
Is that how you manage?
Oh, not I. We quarreled last March just before she went mad, you know. It was at the great concert given by the Queen of Hearts, and I had to sing.
I wasn't sleeping. I heard every word you fellows were saying.
Tell us the story!
Please do.
And be quick about it or you'll be asleep again before it's done.
Once upon a time, there were 3 little sisters. And their names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly. And they lived at the bottom of a well.
What did they live on?
They lived on treacle.
Treacle? They couldn't have done that, you know? They would have been ill.
So they were very ill.
But why did they live at the bottom of a well? I haven't had any, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
If you can't be civil, you might just as well finish the story for yourself.
No. I'm sorry. I won't interrupt you again. I dare say there may be one treacle well.
One indeed. And so, these three little sisters, they were learning to draw, you know.
What did they draw?
Treacle.
I want a green cup. Let's all move one place on.
For the duchess, an invitation from the queen to play croquet.
From the queen, invitation for the duchess to play croquet.
Perfectly disgusting.
Let's move on.
There's no such use in arguing now. That's 2 reasons. First, I'm on the same side. Second, there may be such racket in there no one can possibly hear you.
How am I to get in?
There are reasons that knocking is very door between us. For instance, you can be inside knocking and I can lay out, you know.
How am I to get in?
Sit here and with Mara.
How am I to get in?
Are you getting it all? That's the first thing you need to know.
You know, it's really dreadful the way all you creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy.
Sit here day to day.
Where is the servant whose business it is to open the door?
What?
This door?
That door? What did that?
What the hell do you mean?
Speak English tonight or are you dead? What did it ask you?
I don't know. I've been knocking at it.
Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that. Of course it just smell. You leave it alone and nobody you alone, you know.
There's no use talking to you.
If everybody minds their own business.
It's Pepper?
Of course. Who puts it in my soup?
Certainly there's too much pepper in the soup.
Well then sneeze and get rid of it. Speak softly to your little boy and beat him when he sneezes. He only does it to annoy because he knows it pleases. I speak severely to my boy. I beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases.
What a cook to have.
If everybody minded their own business, then the world would go around a deal of a lot faster than it does.
Just think what work the day and night would bring. You see, the earth only goes around on its axis 24 hours a day.
Speaking of axes, chop off her head.
What's then?
A cat, of course.
Yeah, but why does it grin like that?
It's a Cheshire cat. That's why. Pig!
Well, I didn't know Cheshire cats grin. In fact, I didn't know any cat could grin.
They all can, and most of them do. You don't know much about anything, and that's a fact. Here, you can nurse it for a bit if you like. Well, I must be going. I have to go play croquet with the queen.
I don't take this child away with me. They're sure to kill it in a day or two. Cheshire Prince, will you tell me which way I have to walk from here?
That depends entirely on where you want to go.
Well, I don't much care where.
Then it doesn't matter which way you walk.
So as long as I get somewhere?
Oh, you're sure to do that. If only you walked long enough.
Will you tell me what sort of people go around here?
All mad people.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
You can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad. He's mad. He's dreaming now, and what do you suppose he's dreaming about?
Well, no one could guess that.
Why? About you. And if you left off dreaming about you, where do you suppose you'd be?
Where I am now, of course.
Not you. You'd be nowhere. Why, you're only a sort of thing in his dream. And you're mad, too.
Well, how do you know that I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't have come here.
Well, then how do you know that you're mad?
To begin with, a dog's not mad, you read that?
I suppose so.
Well, you see, a dog wags its tail when it's pleased and growls when it's angry. Now I wag my tail when I'm angry and growl when I'm pleased, therefore, I'm mad.
It's called purring, not growling.
Call it what you like. Do you play croquet with the queen today?
I should like to, but I haven't been invited yet.
You'll see me there.
You turned into a pig.
Bye-bye, what became of the baby?
It turned into a pig.
I thought it might. Did you say pig or pig?
Pig. And I wish you wouldn't keep appearing and disappearing so suddenly. It makes one quite dizzy.
All right.
Tweedledee, no. If you think you're whacker, you want to pay. Counterwise, if you think we're alive, you want to speak. The first thing in a visit is to say, howdy do, and shake hands. Would you please tell me how to get home? What shall I repeat to her? The walrus and the carpenter is the longest. The sun was shining. It was going to be long if you please tell me. The moon was shining soulfully. The sea was wet as wet could be. A oyster comes and walks with us, the walrus did beseech. A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head, meaning to say he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. But 4 young oysters hurried up and yet another 4. And thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more. The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so, and then they rested on a rock conveniently low. And all the little oysters stood and waited in a row. A loaf of bread, the walrus said, is what we chiefly need. Now, if you're ready, oysters dear, we can begin to feed. But not on us, the oysters cried, turning a little blue. The night is mine, the walrus said, do you admire the view? The carpenter said nothing but, cut us another
Who is this? What's your name, child?
Alice, if you please, Your Majesty, I...
Off with her head!
Consider my dear. She is only a child.
Can you play croquet?
Yes.
All right, then. Get to your places. Where are the mallets?
They're here.
Off with his head.
What fun!
What is the fun?
Why it's all her fancy. They never execute anyone.
Get to your places. How can you go thinking so quietly with your head downwards?
Why does it matter where my head happens to be? My mind goes on working just the same. The fact of it is, the more head downwards I am, the more I'm inventing new things.
Did you see any soldiers, my dear, as you came through the wood?
Several thousand, I think.
4,207. That's the exact number. They couldn't send all the horses, you know, because 2 of them are being used in the game. And I haven't sent any of my messengers either.
What is the war about?
The Red Chess King. He's got the whole army against us, but he can't kill a man. He has 13 hearts. You alarm me. I feel faint. Give me a ham sandwich, another sandwich.
There's nothing but hay left now.
Hay, Ben. There's nothing like hay when you feel faint.
I think cold water should be better.
I didn't say there was something better. I said there was nothing like it. Who did you pass on the road?
Nobody.
Quite right. So of course nobody walks slower than you.
I try my best. I'd like to think that nobody walks much faster than I do.
Well, that couldn't happen. Otherwise he would have been here first. However, now that you've caught your breath, you may now tell me what happened in town.
I'll whisper it. They're acting again!
Oh my, you call that a whisper? If you do such a thing again, I'll have you buttered! It went through and through my head like an earthquake. Give me details, quick!
You can't think of how happy I am to see you again, you dear old thing. Oh, I bet you're wondering why I don't hold my arm around your waist. And the reason is that I'm a bit nervous about the temper of your flamingo. Let I try the experiment? He might bite. That's true. Mustard and birds both bite. And the moral of that is, birds of a feather flock together. Only mustard isn't a bird. Yes, what a clear way you have of certain things. It's a mineral, I think. Yes, I quite agree with you. There's a mustard mine near here. And the moral of that is, the more there is of mine, the less there is of yours. Actually, it's a vegetable. It doesn't look like one, but it is. Yes, I agree. And the moral of that is...
Who are you talking to?
My friend the Cheshire Cat. Allow me to introduce her.
don't like the looks of it at all. However, you may kiss my hand if it likes.
I'd rather not.
Don't be impertinent, and don't look at me like that.
Cat is allowed to look at a king. I read that somewhere in a book, but I don't remember where.
Well, whatever it is, it must be removed. My dear, I wish you had this cat removed.
Off of its head.
But you can't cut off a head unless there's a body to cut it off from.
Anything that has a head can be beheaded.
If something isn't done about it in half no time, I'll have everyone executed all around.
It belongs to the Duchess. Ask her about it.
That's a lie! You better ask me. Do it if you can.
Cut it off! Cut it off!
Well, I don't know, just a present. I went through all these doors and I played croquet with a flamingo, and at least I knew who I was when I woke up this morning. But I think I may have changed many times since then.
And what do you mean by that? Explain yourself.
Well, I can't explain myself, I'm afraid, because I'm not myself.
You? Who are you?
I think you ought to tell me who you are first.
Why? Wait, come back. I have something important to say. Keep your temper.
Is that all?
No. So you think you've changed, do you?
I'm afraid I am. I've never been the same size as a caterpillar before.
It is a very good height indeed.
I mean, it's just that I'm not used to it, and I wish you wouldn't get so easily offended.
We'll get used to it in time.
Are you too big, or am I too small?
One side makes you grow taller, the other side makes you grow smaller.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
Look at that, Bud. Don't just let the potato feel like that. I couldn't help it. 7 jogged my elbow. That's right, Bud. Always been the queen on others. You're one to talk. I heard the queen say only yesterday you deserve to be beheaded. What for? It's none of your business, Stu. Yes, it is her business, and I'll tell her. It was for bringing the cup to lovers instead of onions. Of all the unjust things.
Would one of you please tell me which side to eat? I know anything about it. You have to have bread. It would be my mistake. If we was to find out, dog and dog. Do you hear that? What is that? The white chess queen. Go let us see what we're doing. She's telling us. Run outside. Well, I didn't know I was to have a party, but if I am, I think I ought to invite the guests.
Well, we gave you the opportunity of doing it, but I dare say you haven't had very many lessons in manners yet.
Well, manners are not taught in lessons. Lessons teach you students sums and things of that sort.
Can you do addition? What's 1 and 1 and 1 and 1, and 1 and 1 and 1, and 1, and 1?
I don't know, I lost count.
She can't do addition. Can you do subtraction? Take 9 from 8.
9 from 8? I can't, you know.
She can't do subtraction. Can you do division? Divide a loaf by 9. What's the answer to that?
Well, I suppose...
Right above, of course. Try another subtraction sum. Take a bone from a dog. What remains?
Well, the bone would remain because I took it. And so the dog would remain, you would come to bite me. And then surely I would remain.
So you think nothing would remain?
I think that's the answer.
Wrong as usual. The dog's temper would remain.
But I don't see how.
Look here. The dog would lose his temper, wouldn't it?
I suppose so.
Well, if the dog went away, the dog's temper would remain.
But they might go different directions. What dreadful nonsense you're talking about.
She can't do sums of it.
Can you do sums?
I can do addition if you give me time, but I can't do subtraction under any circumstances.
Of course you know your ABCs.
Of course.
I'll let you in on a little secret. I can read words of 1 letter. Isn't it groovy? Although, don't be discouraged. You'll come to it in time.
Of course you can answer useful questions. How's bread made?
Oh, well, first you take flour.
Flower? Where do you get flowers? Gardens or hedges?
Well, it's not picked, it's ground.
How many acres of ground? You must leave out so many things.
Fan her head. She'll be feverish after so much thinking.
Stop! Stop, please.
She's all right again now. Do you know any languages? What's the French for fiddle-dee-dee?
Well, fiddle-dee-dee's not English.
Whoever said it was?
If you tell me what language fiddle-dee-dee is, I'll tell you the French for it.
Queens never make bargains.
I wish queens never ask questions.
Don't let us quarrel.
Now tell me.
What is the cause of lightning?
Oh, the cause of lightning is thunder. No, the other way around.
No, it's too late to correct it. When you once said a thing, that fixes it.
We had such a thunderstorm next Tuesday, you couldn't think.
She never could, you know. You must excuse her. She tends to say foolish things as a general rule. She was never really well brought up, but it's amazing how well-tempered she is. Pat her on her head and see how pleased she'll be. A little kindness and put her hair up in hands would do wonders for her.
I am so sleepy.
Oh, poor thing. She's tired. Smooth her hair and lend her your nightcap and sing her a soothing lullaby.
Well, I don't have a nightcap. I don't know any soothing lullabies.
I guess I have to do it myself. Hush by Lady in Alice's lap, till the feast's ready, we've time for a nap. When the feast's over, we'll go to the ball. Red Queen and White Queen and Alice and all. Well, now you know the words, so why don't you just sing it through to me? I'm a bit sleepy too.
What am I to do with 2 queens asleep at once? Do get off, you heavy things!
They're writing down their names for fear they should forget them before the end of the trial.
Stupid things.
Stupid! Alice in the car!
How do you spell stupid?
What a mess their boards will be in by the time the trial's finished. There's a pencil squeaking. Cut it down. Squeaking!
Squeaking.
Harold, read the accusation.
The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all on a summer day. The Knave of Hearts, he stole those tarts and took them quite away.
Consider your verdict.
Not yet, not yet. There's a great deal to come before that.
Call the first witness.
First witness!
I beg your pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing this in, but I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for.
Well, you ought to have finished. When did you begin?
14th of March. 15th.
16th.
I think it was.
Write that down.
14, 15.
Reduce back to
shrimp.
Take off your hat.
Well, it isn't mine.
Stolen.
Stolen! No, it isn't mine because I keep none of my own. I keep them to sell. I'm a hatter.
Well, give your evidence. Don't be nervous, or I'll have you executed on the spot.
I'm a poor woman, Your Majesty. I've but just begun my tea about a week or so ago, and with the bread and the butter getting so thin, and the twinkling of the tea, and
The twinkling of the what?
it began with the tea.
Of course, twinkling begins with the T. Do you take it or it does go on?
I'm a poor woman, Your Majesty. Most things twinkled after that. Only the Marchers don't mind. I deny it.
She denies it. Leave that part out.
What did the dormouse say?
I can't remember that.
Well, you must remember or I'll have you executed.
I am a poor woman, Your Majesty!
That is all you know. You may stand down.
I can't get any lower. I'm on the floor as is.
You may sit down.
I'd rather finish my tea.
You may go! Call the next witness.
Next witness!
Give your evidence.
No.
Your Majesty must cross-examine this witness.
Well, if I must, I must. What does your cook say tarts are made of?
Pepper.
Trico.
Hold the dormouse. Hand the dormouse. Get that dormouse out of my court. Suppress the pitch. All my whiskers.
Never mind. Really, my dear, you must cross-examine the next witness. It quite makes my forehead ache. Call the next witness.
Alice.
Here?
And what do you know about this business?
Nothing whatsoever.
Well, that's very important.
What's unimportant, Your Majesty means, of course.
Unimportant. Unimportant. Important. Important. Unimportant. Consider your verdict.
Not yet, Your Majesty. There's more evidence yet. This letter just arrived.
What's in it?
I haven't opened it yet, but it appears to be a letter written by the prisoner to somebody.
Well, of course it was written to somebody, unless it was written to nobody, which isn't usual, you know.
Well, who is it directed to?
It isn't directed at all. In fact, it's a set of verses.
Well, then begin at the beginning, and then go on to the end, and then stop.
They told me you had been to her and mentioned me to him.
If anyone of them can explain it, I'll give him $5. I don't believe there's an atom of meaning in it. She doesn't believe there's an atom of meaning in it.
Hold up, Daddy.
Okay. Well, we know it to be true. That's the jury, of course. I gave him 1. They gave her 2. So that must be what happened to the tarts.
But then it goes on to say, they all returned from him to you.
Well, nothing can be clearer. Of course, before she had this fit, you never had any fits, my dear, I think.
Never.
Then words don't fit you. It's a pun. Let the jury consider their verdict.
No, sentence first, verdict afterwards.
Stupid nonsense! Hold your tongue! I want top of your head! Who cares for you? Hold your head! You're nothing but a pack of cards!
Alice, wake up. It's time for tea.